One of the key technologies I used throughout research and planning and throughout the entire process itself was the blogging site. It is called EduBlogs, as seen here. There was no choice available in using this site, however it is a platform that has allowed me to converge other technologies and bring them into one place. This has meant that all my ideas and discussion that are the basis of the technologies are presented clearly and chronologically. EduBlogs acting as a place which displays my entire thought process from the beginning to the very end. By saying EduBlogs converges technologies, I mean it has enabled me to embed YouTube clips, display presentation software, and even when merely writing a blog post directly, including visual imagery. It is evident that the key benefit surrounding EduBlogs is that it has an element of compatibility with all these other technologies, and this has in turn meant my work displays my thought process visually. This was especially important in the research and planning, of which such visual aids enabled me to plan an idea and record this in a way that isn't just block text, something that would be difficult to refer to when finalising the idea and creating the product. It is important to mention that during the AS course I struggled in utilising this blogging site, unsure of the functions and even unaware of how using such technology was enhancing my work at all. However, during this process I have familiarised myself with the site and now recognise that it is a platform which has become a source of convergence between all the technologies that I have used. In the research and planning, it was the presentation software that I predominantly used, obviously alongside the blogging site. Such software includes Prezi, that uses motion and spatial relationships to present ideas in an engaging and visual way. It is non-linear. I also found that you can insert images and videos, thus contributing to its high level of visual presentation. I used this at various points in the research and planning to present my ideas. It was the post regarding research into the music video industry that I considered highlights the true benefits Prezi has provided me, in comparison to the monotonous backgrounds that are common to other presentation softwares. It was in this Prezi that I used a template of a record player, which although seems cliché, has allowed my research to be presented in a way that actually engages the reader. The post is lengthy, thus to maintain interest such as a background adds excitement, as well as relating to the topic of music, so you are aware of the theme before even starting to read the writing. Within this Prezi, I also embedded YouTube clips when discussing famous directors and could provide visual evidence of their work. This Prezi has enabled me to use technologies and provide the reader with a greater understanding of my research. I also found you can insert images and videos, thus contributing to its high level of presentation. I've already mentioned the benefits of visual imagery, with an interaction between words and images. However, the most vital benefit is that it has truly allowed for creativity. This can be seen in not just Prezi, but eMaze and SlideShare, where again the ability of converging embedded videos, images, altering font size to signify importance of the writing, colour and so on, has all contributed to the creativity of my research and planning. Words mean very little when there is a lack of creative flair to support such writing. An example of where such flair is apparent can be seen below. When identifying the categories of music video in my category, where I've added imagery and videos, presentation software has allowed for convergence in my research and planning, and the benefits of this are so apparent that if I were to ever produce a blog again, they would definitely be utilised. I recognise that perhaps in the future I could make use of the presentation software even more extensively, as I realise I have written many posts straight onto the blog, and now the benefits of the software are so clear to me that if in the situation of an additional research and planning process, I will definitely use them a lot more. The use of the traditional Microsoft Office, or more specifically Word and PowerPoint, have also truly benefited my work. Despite having a reputation to be very plain and standardised forms of presentation software, the research and planning process has proved this to be untrue. I used Word documents when creating my equipment list, as seen here, and my props list, as seen here. I benefited from this as it meant I could print the documents to ensure I had these lists to hand prior to filming, so the process ran smoothly, and during every shot I had everything that was needed. However, I could also export the document as a PDF, thus meaning I could insert a link in a blog post to said document. Thus I could display the list to provide evidence of my thought process, yet also have them to hand to enable me to create a professional music video. So, despite its simplicity, Word actually provided many uses that not only aided research and planning, but also the production side of the process. The convergence of technology that EduBlogs has provided me can be also seen here, as it enabled me to insert hyperlinks to documents, as well as technologies mentioned previously. EduBlogs binding everything together and thus binding my thoughts and ideas together to create 3 successful products. PowerPoint was also used as a presentation software, allowing for my creativity just as much as the softwares that I have explained earlier. I then inserted the PowerPoint into a SlideShare, published it, which thus enabled me to insert it into my blog. Therefore, SlideShare for me acted as a source of convergence between the PowerPoint presentation and the blog itself. This can be seen here. This is an extract of my SlideShare on my audience questionnaire analysis. In the image, you can also see graphs depicted. This is because I also used the technology of SurveyMonkey to distribute my audience questionnaire. Using such software meant that I could have access to descriptive statistics of my feedback in a matter of seconds. This enabled me to produce an analysis with ease, as rather than sifting through endless written responses, such response was already presented in a quantitative format. This meant that I could recognise what my target audience thoughts and ideas were quickly, and spend more time evaluating what this actually meant for my product. All of this ensuring that my final product appeals to this audience. As my target audience fit well with the thousands of people that I have on Facebook, I use this social media platform to distribute the link to the survey. This can be seen here. This convergence between social media and my survey meant that it reached a greater amount of people in my target audience, thus receiving responses from more people, assuring me that my product, based on this feedback, would appeal to them. However, this did lead to a challenge, as despite social media, I did not receive as many responses as I would have liked. Obviously, the greater the feedback, the greater the peace of mind that your product will appeal to the audience. Thus, I had to turn to other ways of receiving feedback from my audience in the form of focus groups, etc. In addition, I also utilised a software called MindMeister in the research and planning, a mind mapping site of which embedding clips, imagery is also a function. I use this here when researching the influences on the grime genre. The format of a mind map, as well as the insertion of music video examples, enabled me to gain an understanding of the genre, with a visual presentation of ideas. Thus, when creating my products, I knew exactly why I was producing them, and what has influenced them to look the way they do. The production aspect also revolved around the use of technologies. However, the constraints in regards to technologies became far more apparent at this stage. By this I mean, as a school, the technology available is limited. It is for this reason that during the AS course, I went out and bought my own camera, as the ones provided by the school are very outdated. Constrained by money, I went for a camera that was in my price range, yet was also specialised and more complex than the ones at school. An image of my camera can be seen here. It is the Canon 1300D. Although this occurred last year, this had a positive knock-on effect on the production process in A2. I am assured that the quality as a professionals was possible, and that the final result is a drastic improvement from the blurry quality that is provided with the school cameras. There are still quality issues that arose despite my investment in a new camera. However, these arose when I exported the video and posted it onto YouTube, perhaps suggesting an element of incompatibility with my video's resolution and what is acceptable for YouTube. This lack of quality can be seen in this clip of my music video. However, I do not believe this distracts from the poignant narrative and the shots themselves. The powerful and adaptable camera, however, enabled me on the whole to produce good quality shots. An example of a shot that has this clarity can be seen here. A close-up of the boy where his facial features, expression are clear and defined, vital as it lies in between the two shots where she has died due to her drug addiction. I also use the camera to take the photos for the photo album in the music video. Thus the quality can also be seen here. However, I did use an iPhone for some, so I could use Snapchat and its filters, thus representing teenage culture, and those can be seen here. I also made use of a tripod in the production process, a vital piece of technological equipment. I used it in the shots that I wanted to be entirely steady. This image shows me using the tripod in the filming of one of my shots. It may seem menial, but I actually struggled to use this equipment during the AS course, requiring help from my peers to set it up. However, in the A2 production process, I learned how to use it properly, without help, thus highlighting my significant improvement, especially in regards to utilising technologies. I did make use of a lot of handheld shots, however, as seen here. This is because the tone of the narrative is distressing, and thus the shaky shots convey such anxiety. In the editing process, I used Cyberlink Power Director 13 as the editing software for my music video. Just like EduBlogs, using this software was not a choice, but rather provided by the school, with its tools such as trimming shots, fade transitions, superimposing, as seen here, slow-mo, and the ability to edit 3 shots into one frame, as seen here. The software enabled me to produce a professional music video. However, I'm also aware that this software is not industry standard. Something like Adobe Premiere Pro may be considered more advanced editing software. Thus, perhaps in the future, I may utilise that instead of Cyberlink. However, on the whole, Cyberlink has provided me with all the tools I needed to bring my idea to life, whilst also adding effects and transitions that run true to the grime genre. Therefore, the software has contributed to my perceived success for the product. Such software at my school is only available on the Windows PCs, which I argue is another constraint. In today's age, it's far more common to utilise technology such as Apple Macs in the creation of media products. They are fast and have features such as AirPlay, where you can send videos and images from your phone to the laptop or Mac instantly via Bluetooth. Greater compatibility between the iPhone and the Mac. Similarly to Cyberlink, using a PC is not industry standard, and thus did act as a slight constraint, with reduced compatibility with my Apple products. Despite this, using a PC did serve its purpose, allowing the editing software, the camera, to converge together to produce a product that on the whole I am pleased with and that it does appeal to my target audience. When researching and identifying conventions of the ancillary products, I utilised the same software as I did during the research and planning, at the start of the process, and for the same reasons. Yet, in the production of the products, I utilised 2 key softwares of which were completely new to me, and thus posed a clear challenge. In the production of my Digipack, I used the digital photo manipulation software Adobe Photoshop to create the Digipack. This product can be seen here. I had never used it before, and with time constraints did not have long to learn. However, with guidance, I learnt the basics, such as using the Magic Wand tool, the layers pasting into, resizing of imagery, utilising levels to alter contrast, as I did with the Parental Advisory Explicit Content sticker, which you can see here on the front panel. I could then build up more complex skills, such as altering the layer settings, skewing text, which can be seen here on the track listing on the back panel. Thus, despite starting the production of the Digipack with little to no knowledge of the software, I learnt as I went along, and the final product includes all of the conventions of general Digipacks and grime Digipacks alike. This was a challenge, yet with some persistence, I have now got to grips with Photoshop, something which I would never have believed if someone had said to me in the AS process. When creating the website, I used the site Wix to enable me to produce the product. The benefits of using this site is that the fundamental structure of the website already exists. However, you then add customization in the form of themes, images, backgrounds, buttons, links to enable your idea to come into fruition. For example here, I have included a bar of social media links that navigate to Nines' accounts, important as it is social media which is the norm for the modern grime genre. Thus, the tools provided by Wix enabled me to create a product that runs true to the genre and maintains professionalism. A definite benefit of using this software was that the website you design is already optimised for mobile devices, meaning that my audience of the website would have the potential to peruse it on their iPhone. This is especially important as my audience are young and of the generation of which using phones is the norm as opposed to using PCs. Wix as a technology has allowed for convergence with Web 2.0 sites in particular. I have consistently embedded YouTube clips, which can be seen here, as well as embedding tweets about the artist, as seen here. Because the grime genre is recent, thus make use of this modern technology, the convergence between Wix and those sites has meant that this ancillary product truly represents the grime genre, something that I was hoping to achieve, as it is that is attracting my audience. I have also made use of technologies in the evaluation stage of the process. For example, in this question, I am filming myself with a camera and a tripod setup. An image of this can be seen here. And then editing this, adding visual evidence of what I am talking about. Utilising the editing software in such a way means that I am demonstrating a greater understanding of the technologies used. By providing visuals, I am showing where I have used a specific technology. Without illustrative material, my words mean nothing, thus overlaying images or any form of other visual presentation that will be seen throughout the evaluation stages. I am creating a response that actually means something. When looking back at the start of the AS process, and my lack of ability in using media technologies across research and planning, production and evaluation, I am aware of the progression of my skills and the improvement in using all forms of technology to bring my creativity to life. I recognise that in the future these skills will progress even further. However, I am proud of the skills that I have already learned to date, skills that have enabled me to produce 3 products that, on the whole, I am satisfied with, despite the constraints and confinements in the accessibility of various technologies.